Hello there. I'm Dr. Ted Coffman, up here a mile high on the Crystal Star Ranch on the western slope of the southern tip of Colorado's Rocky Mountains. Our program, Dr. Ted Talks, is intended to give you a break from the stress of daily living, to give you the experience that someone out here really cares for you. Doesn't that sound refreshing? We start with thoughts become things. So I want to make sure we each have some happy, healthy, uplifting thoughts to help us along the way as we live out our day-to-day routines. I'm sharing ideas today from a book I wrote entitled We, a selection that I like to say came from the collision of the constellations of wisdom and enlightenment. The twinkle of the stardust from that collision was the inspiration for We, the first letters of wisdom and enlightenment. The book begins, "Once upon a time came a wise one." Once upon a time came a wise one to fan the spark of enlightenment with the wing of wisdom on this, the first day of the best of the rest of your life. You are that wise one. This book is written as a tribute to you, to your expanding joy, continuous truth, unconditional love, and your total satisfaction. I feel like I've been given a special gift as an author. I sit quietly at my writing desk, I clear my mind of all thoughts, and listen to the physical universe. Thoughts come to me. I call them thought chicks because they're little tiny thoughts that have the expansion capability to create a happy, healthy life. Sometimes the thoughts come faster than I can type, so I just hit rewind in my mind to complete the thought. As we bathe our bodies regularly with water to stay healthy physically, best we also bathe our minds regularly with uplifting thoughts for strong, healthy, empowered minds to spark ultimate life outcomes. There's a parable of an old man that was sitting by the side of a road just outside of town. Excuse me. If I knew how to edit that out, I would, but I don't. So I'll just go on. The old man was sitting there when a traveler came by. And the traveler said, "Old timer," he said, "what kind of folks live in the town up ahead?" The older man said, "Well, what kind of folks lived in the town that you just came from?" The young traveler said, "Well, they were happy, healthy, loving, supportive, nurturing people." The old timer said, "Well, that's pretty much who lives in the town up ahead." Soon another traveler came by and asked the old timer the same question. He said, "What kind of folks live in that town?" And the old timer again asked the question, "What kind of folks lived in the town you just came from?" The young traveler said, "Well, they were angry, hateful, upset, lying, cheating thieves." The old timer said, "Son," he said, "that's pretty much who lives in the town up ahead." You see, we filter the experiences of life through our filters to imprint that experience on our minds, and we call it the truth. So it's important that those filters, I call them lenses, are as uplifting, as positive, as unprejudiced as possible. I wrote a poem called The Lens, and it goes like this. Oh, to be able to write or sculpt, paint or speak for the sake of beauty to create, but far more magnificent to artfully and deliberately give rise to the illuminating lenses, the notions, the perceptions, beliefs, attitudes, and the ethers through which we perceive the exactness of life's moment. For in that elegant work of art, that delightful, imaginative, preconceived self-expression creates the whole of life, whether riches or deprivation, love or loneliness, yearning or satisfaction. This accountability of perception is the alpha and the omega of creation, enlightenment, and the self-actualization of a life well lived. We cannot get to where we dream of being tomorrow unless we change our thinking today. That was written by Dr. Albert Einstein. Marcus Aurelius said it a little bit differently. Everything we hear is opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is perspective, not the truth. This reading today is an ultimate opportunity for forward thinking, enhanced functional choices, and alternative second chances in creating a full-throttle, high-performance, satisfying life. This is a compilation of empowered thinking that may replace, repair, or replenish our existing perspectives, thoughts, or notions about harmoniously creating a living life, full speed, on the high road to success. More than a brainwashing, this is an entire inside shower. You are invited not to believe these thoughts, but rather to try on the ones with the most interest for you and see how they feel. Thoughts become things, so we might want to only hang on to the good ones. Again, don't believe this. Just get a sense of it. See how it feels and see if it might work for you. The first section of the book is entitled Accountability. And it goes like this. Our children tend to be what they see and hear, so proceed with care. Children at play. Fault versus responsibility. My family is my responsibility, not my fault. My work is my responsibility, not my fault. My marriage is my responsibility, not my fault. The same with my income, and on and on. There's a difference between being responsible, accountable, and blaming yourself for the outcome. We are facing a social crisis. What is your best answer to that crisis? See if it's okay with you to help make it happen. Get in the world game and play it like you're in it to win it. List the qualities of a moral superhuman. If you'd like to turn this off for a moment and do that, I would encourage you to do so. List the qualities of a moral superhuman. There's your to-do list. Our inalienable rights are not gifts. We must earn them daily, each generation. Thanks for your service. I have given up trying to understand all that I write, and now I just bask in the feelings it creates. I was asked one day what my thoughts were regarding Jean-Paul Sartre's first essential pillar of existentialism. I said, what? Then I thought about it and offered this not so poignant opinion. I reckon he's telling us that if we want to make it up the road to success, we need to build our own road. There comes a time to stop planning it, thinking about it, and talking about it. Just do something. Being players in the world game means we are in it to win it. The most important thing you can do for your children is to give them the experience of your life joyfully, really working. An ant accomplishes more than a large stone. Looking back blinds us from seeing the possibilities before us. The future deserves much of our attention because we will spend the rest of our lives there. Responsible, accountable communication is the valve letting the air out of the frustration of the tire of life. The first step in the transformation to what we want is acceptance of what we don't have. Acceptance fuels motivation. Because resistance causes persistence, bake some cookies for that lady at work that keeps getting on your nerves and see what happens. Authentic living doesn't mean you give up your angst and upset. It just means that you take responsibility for choosing those in response to a stimulus, and that your emotions are not a victim of others or circumstances. What if we had the discipline and courage to be responsible for our bodies, our time, and our power of choice? Why is there so much talk about our problems and so little functional action? Many hands make light work, so let us each be dedicated to making the world a little better place for everyone. I naturally trade the time of my life for the good that I can do. Seeing what is needed and ignoring it has the same effect as being blind and paralyzed. If you could have any one question answered, what would you ask? Regret is the emotion of the past. Fear is the emotion of the future. Be here now with neither. We call this time without regret or fear the present. The true warrior archer blames not the target for the miss. Excellence in all things lights the path of my journey. One who stands on virtue stands with an army of committed support. I live my life in such a way, to such a degree, and at such a pace that others are inspired, motivated, and educated. And I know the joyous satisfaction that only comes from completion. The character of the home is the foundation of the nation. Level 1 is being it. Level 2 is recreating it in others. And level 3 is helping others to recreate it in others. There's enough power to prevent world war, enough food to end starvation, enough medicine to heal everyone, and enough prosperity to house the homeless. Now, if we could just mix in enough wisdom, caring, and accountability. Living with one's eyes closed helps dispel any feeling of accountability, but that is not what eyes are for. The greatest danger to our future is indifference. We each impact the world every day. Only the power of choice determines what that difference will be. If character is the sun shining against a waving flag, reputation is the shadow. Power and money just let someone be more of who they were before they had it. We do not escape our history by tearing down our statues, nor do we need to if we learn from them. Opportunities are missed even when they are not attempted. Mere survival is not equivalent to really learning. You are the seed to a mighty forest. As we stop blaming others and focus on our own accountability, we lose the victim act that we have been hiding behind. Truth, love, and joy are safer and more powerful than any fentanyl tablet. Fear is the hurdle we must clear to achieve the joy of satisfaction on the other side. What if, when we took religion out of the schools, we threw the baby out with the bathwater? Society is still proving character counts. Well, folks, that's a wrap for today. It's time to go feed and water the horses. Thanks for spending a few moments with us up here on the Crystal Star Ranch. I'm hoping we lightened your load just a little, and we will see you again right here in the high country next time. This is Dr. Ted on the Crystal Star Ranch, wishing you happy trails. Until then.